This video today is going to be mainly about family channels. The first family channel I want to talk about is Aunt by Anna. Now, if you haven't heard them before or seen their videos, they're basically a couple out of Florida.
My baby's so smart.
One thing I want to talk about is their content strategy. Now, before they found out they were pregnant, as well as like they were going to start having their family, they basically were a couple prank channel. They were doing harmless pranks such as cheating on my wife, cheating on my husband, buying my wife this, buying my wife that, destroying my husband's car. Months and months ago, whenever they found out they were pregnant, they still continued to do pranks, but you can tell it was more baby-centered pranks such as, oh, faking I'm going to labor. My husband has pregnancy pains. My husband tried out my pregnancy cravings and all that. But 2 months ago, for obvious reasons, they started to focus their, channel more about their baby as they are a vlogging channel. At the time of this recording and release of this video, pretty much a lot of their videos has been centered around the baby, as well as like their trials and tribulations of being, a newborn's parent, as well as being young parents. Which on the surface may seem fine. It may seem normal now that we're in the Facebook, Instagram era, everyone has to share everything. One thing a lot of people don't consider is that the baby is not consenting. And as ridiculous as that may sound, that is going to bite a lot of people in the butt years and years later when their children can actually go online and see the video that their parents have made about them. And, they're going to have the same effect when, your mom or dad show your old baby photos. As well, you got the aunts and the uncles commenting like, oh, how skinny, how chubby you were as a baby, and you get embarrassed. What I fear was going to start happening in today's society due to like the parents, not really thinking about what they're posting about their children, even as they're like a baby, is that, you're going to have a lot more quote unquote celebrity kids going through life, growing up in the public eye through social media, through TikTok, live streams, and have to deal with people constantly in your business wondering what you're eating today, what type of shampoo you're using, where you go to school at, basically having people follow you throughout your whole life down to the last minute detail. One of the examples I want to bring to the table was Michael Jackson's children. I don't know much about anybody other than Paris Jackson, but I know she went through a lot of mental health issues growing up.
My social anxiety, I experience audio hallucinations sometimes with camera clicks and severe paranoia, and have been going to therapy for a lot of things, but that included
like you hear
I'll hear like a trash bag rustling and I like flinch and panic.
Is that from the paparazzi?
Yeah, wow. I think it's just standard PTSD.
I'm very paranoid about like information.
Right.
Like,
100%.
if I'm telling
everyone that walks into my house signs an NDA.
Yo,
it's gnarly.
It's gnarly. Even being like, oh, like delete that text because I don't want people to like.
Oh yeah, it does a lot to your nervous system because you're constantly in fight or flight, like walking on eggshells, constantly looking over your shoulder. Like you have to sit up straight and act right because if you don't, it not only reflects on your reputation, your family's reputation. I think it was everything, man. I think a lot of it was just not knowing who I was.
Because not only is she always in the shadow of her dad, everyone's wondering what she's doing, but her dad passed away when she was really, really young. And, just dealing with that, alone in your private house and all that is already troubling enough for most people. But imagine dealing with this when all the world has their eyes on you. I hope that she and her siblings are okay now. And I'm not saying that and the kid is going to be on the same level as what, Paris Jackson was. But it's something that we got to start thinking about when we're talking about exposing our kids to social media, because we have access to millions and millions of people, as well as God knows what corporate spying machine or national security surveillance we have access to. And you're basically giving them a front row view of your child growing up. Not to mention a lot of recent videos has come out more exploitative because just a few days ago, they released a video of their child going to Disneyland.
All right, y'all, so Elijah has just ridden his first roller coaster.
Now, I'm not a pediatrician, I'm not a parent, but I know darn well you're not supposed to have your kid going to Disneyland, when they're 2 months old. Because if you're trying to make a happy family memory, you do it when they're like 2 or 3, when they're there, they can actually remember this stuff. Next channel I want to talk about is Beverley Halls, which is ran by Marco Hall as well as Brooke Ashley Hall. Now they have 3 children, which I'm not going to show the faces of them because they're underage, but basically Marco is a boxer, MMA fighter, I believe. Brooke Ashley is a former nurse as well as a social media influencer. Mainly their content centers around them being a family, them doing normal quote unquote activities, the day-to-day lives of their children, and I quote, documenting the struggle of millennial dating as well as parenthood in an imperfectly blended family. I got that from a news site that did an interview on them when they broke 1 million followers on TikTok, and I just wanted to put that in to give you a sense of what this family is. Issues I have with their channel is similar to Aunt by Anna because pretty much they're showcasing their children's lives. And on the surface, it seems like they're just flexing their lavish lifestyle, just saying like, oh, this is what we're giving our kids, you know, having quote unquote normal family activities like going to fancy restaurants, you know, going shopping at Louis Vuitton. There's a serious issue I want to talk about because I feel like they are exploiting one of their sons', you know, conditions. Basically, one of their sons has a condition called prolonged QT syndrome.
Long QT is a description of a finding on the EKG, diagnosis of long QT syndrome. In other words, a longer time from the Q wave to the end of the T wave. Or in other words, a longer time for the heart to repolarize or to reset to allow it to take another beat. Unfortunately, long QT syndrome can be associated with an increased risk for cardiac arrest and concerning cardiac arrhythmias.
Now, piggybacking off that video, a few weeks ago, their son suffered a cardiac arrest event where he had to be revived and was sent to a hospital. And I believe he had to get surgery. It was a long and very stressful process. And by no means am I trying to punish Marco or Brooke or their family for what they're going through. But we do need to talk about their actions during this time that I feel like, you know, is very exploitive of their son. Not only did they do a video in their son's hospital room.
Baby.
No.
Did he wake up? He's waking up again.
They did multiple updates. They kept filming shorts, as well as once their son was released after surgery and after he recovered enough to go home, they still kept doing update videos where they actually showed Brooke giving him medicine and taking his heart rate as well as checking up on him.
Let's do a day in the life at the hospital. It's currently 11:36 p.m. so it's getting ready to be midnight, but I'm gonna show you guys my sleeping situation since it's about to turn over to a new day. Braylon's over here dying of laughter. He hates it. He's 100% ready to go home, so let's hope that we can get discharged tomorrow. This is my bed situation. I'm very grateful that it pulls out. You know, I got my handy dandy iPad and my laptop. The sucky thing is this thing doesn't go back, but this might as well just be a room tour in the dark. Braylon got some flowers from my mom and my grandma. Day in the life tomorrow in the morning because it's gonna be our last day here. But yeah, all is good. It's actually pretty comfortable here. I'm warm. I don't have any complaints. My body doesn't hurt, but we're both definitely ready to go home. Dishes have been okay, but that's usually Braylon's chore, so we've all just been like doing what Braylon usually does.
While people can give them the benefit of the doubt because they just went through such a traumatic event, as well as they're trying to lift their son's spirit, they're just trying to showcase them as a family, as well as they're trying to raise awareness for this issue. But even I, as a 22-year-old and not even a parent, knows that it's not okay to film your son taking medicine for a very much dangerous heart condition. And it's also not okay in the context that they actually have a monetized YouTube page as well as TikTok page. They're getting monetized, promoted, as well as branded content on all of their social medias that also feature one of the most tragic things that could happen to a family. I just don't want people to have rose-colored glasses to this, and I don't want people to necessarily just go give them hate for doing this, but we needed people to realize that this is not okay. And from Brooks and Marco description of the event, basically she had to actually give him CPR to revive him, as well as he was choking up blood while he was going through cardiac arrest, which makes this 100 times not okay for you to keep filming, keep publishing, and keep talking about it. Because your followers are not owed an update. They don't need to know about what's going on with your son's life, as well as you don't need to keep posting about your life at this point. Like, when this happens, the videos stop. I literally will not be posting for a month until my son will be okay. As well as I wouldn't be posting my son taking his medicine or just trying to like live day to day. Even if we don't talk about the monetization or the moral act of this, what they're doing, then we need to talk about this re-traumatizes him, because he might not have no recollection of, what happened when he went into cardiac arrest. But my main thing is just like, you're seeing the journey, you're seeing him in the hospital, reflecting upon it years and years down the line. That might re-trigger him. A lot of people say like, no, this is gonna make him stronger. It's gonna be like one of those ha-ha moments. You're gonna look back at 10 years. Like, no, there's nothing ha-ha. There's nothing, inspiring about this. Like, your parents are literally filming you in the hospital bed, going through one of the most difficult moments of your life for content. This is something that should not happen. This is something that shouldn't be polarized. If you want to say IG, Instagram photos, that's somewhat different, but it's a lot better than you posting full TikToks, full GWRMs of your son in the hospital bed, vlogs of him trying to get back his strength to be a normal kid. Like, we need to talk about this, and this is not okay. But another channel I want to bring to light is the Weiss family. From the horse's mouths themselves, we are a large family of 7 living in Northern California. We met online in 2007 and got married the very next year on May 11, 2008. Together, we have 5 beautiful daughters and 1 son. We started making online videos in 2013 while recovering from an accident to our home, in which we lost many of our precious family photos and albums. It was our way of preserving memories of our families for the years and years to come. It's totally fine because, having digital photos, digital videos, and digital archives of your family moments and stuff is like a new way and a neat way for you to keep up the memories just in case something like that happened. But they crossing the lines of TMI when they actually start recording a lot of their, daughters' most intimate moments. I'm not going to show any of those videos because those are basically, TMI moments that's very inappropriate for me being a 22-year-old young man. But basically, they have whole videos of their kids going in their first, pair of undergarments, I should say, as well as them showcasing their period kit, talking about their experiences with their periods and all that. Along with that, there's many occasions where the mom took the young daughters to go get swimsuits. If you go through those old videos, it shows that the comment section are disabled. So that can only tell you she got a lot of heat for doing that. And rightfully so. When I mentioned that there's a lot of eyes on the internet and you don't know who you're exposing your kids to, that means a lot of child predators. And there's been many stories that many YouTubers, creepers out in the world that are getting exposed for, trying to look up, child pornography, I should say. While the channels I've listed today aren't the worst of the worst, they are still doing some very concerning behavior in regards to not protecting their kids' privacy, as well as not even just trying to, have decent respect for their kids, as well as not even getting informed consent. And I know it's ridiculous trying to ask your 5-year-old, even newborn son to get informed consent, but your child is very much in danger, especially when you post them, even when they're sonogram. I want to bring a bigger issue to this, discussion, and that is sharing. And yes, I'm not speaking gibberish, because sharing is the oversharing or overposting of children by their parents on social media, whether it be Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. I guarantee that soccer mom or pretty much anybody in your family that often posts on social media, especially about their kids. And I'm not talking about the parents that post the occasional first day of school pictures or the happy birthday picture, but more about actual moments of children's lives, and do it on a consistent basis. While the average parent don't come off to the same level as family vloggers, because oftentimes they're exploiting their kids for money, you can put your kids in a dangerous situation. We are getting more bolder and bolder as a society, and people are really going to act out on their deepest, darkest emotions or thought. It's very easy for someone to come up to them in public and just say oh, nice, swimsuit, or nice video about your period kit. Or people actually coming in and trying to unalive them, or just actually trying to kidnap the girls. And even as a teenager, they probably don't understand what's going on, because they're either used to having the cameras in their faces, or they just don't know due to the child is innocent. But at the end of the day, they're going to look upon this 20 years from now, and they're going to look and discuss oh, I did that. Because like I said earlier, when your aunties, uncles, grandparents, your mom start bringing up old childhood memories, you get very much embarrassed. And this is going to be one of those moments that they're going to have to explain to their kids that they participated in, because their parents didn't know how to put down a camera. Not only that, bullying has been such a staple in schooling, but I feel like it has been kicked up a notch, in today's age, because kids today don't have no chill. And I'm afraid that these girls can't just exist and being themselves without someone trying to harass them for a lot of this content going on. The best bet I can say that, keep your children safe is not post anything about them at all. I don't have children. I don't have a girlfriend. I have none of that, but I keep myself on a need to know basis. And it's just like, I don't even post on Instagram except doing like maybe your every 3-month update. I don't even post on Facebook at all because I just feel like that's a cesspool of low self-esteem. And I'm not just doing that to be ugly or be rude or mean. I'm saying that to be serious because a reason why a lot of this stuff is being driven in the media, as well as we feel like a need to share everything or we feel peer pressure to share our lives on social media, is because of low self-esteem, like the likes and the clicks and the views, the dopamine rush we get from that. While studies have only touched the surface of what the pandemic has done to this figure, it's going to get worse and worse, now that we're getting into a better age of social media. But with that being said, that has been my video about family channels. If you like what you see today, please like, subscribe, turn on post notifications on. Now, if you want to binge some of my other content, here's my video I did on prohibition. So I implore you to go watch it, like, subscribe. Stay warm, stay frosty, depending on what part of the country you're in, and peace out.